Hello and welcome to the story listening session. And today's story is sweet porridge. And first of all, we need to understand what does it mean. So it's easy with sweet. It's like sugar or something really nice. It's sweet, really nice porridge. And what about the porridge? And porridge is a kind of food meal. You get porridge when you have some kind of grains like or oats. You use very popular is oats. You use them, so you got this oats or wheat or rice, and you got, for example, water or milk. So let me just paint it for you. So you got oats or rice, for example. Rice, the most. Also, you can use wheat, barley, quinoa, or cornmeal. But let's just have rice. And you got something like pot, and you put water or milk. Yeah. So it looks like this. So you got some oats, like in those boxes like that. They are usually sold in these kind of boxes. Or you have a rice, and there's small parts of it, just oats or rice. And you got this pot, and you add water or milk. It depends what you like more. So you get this. Then you put the pot on the fire. And you cook it. You need to start with boiling. It start to boil. Got hot. Yeah, it gets hot. So, and then you add those, or someone just put those grains inside of the cold water. So, and you cook it. And after all, you got this kind of meal, which is usually like porridge. It's just like small pots. It's just like liquid. It's like that. And you got it in the plate after all. It's like porridge is like this. It's like really thick, like but liquid. Thick but liquid. So that's a porridge, and you will get it better. So through the story. So once upon a time, many years ago, a lot of time ago, maybe like 100 years ago, just like that. Like 100, yeah, like 100 years ago, so much time ago, there was poor little girl. It was a girl. She was 11 years old. So there was a girl. We have here. And she was only 11 years old. And she was not from the rich family, but from the poor. They don't have money. They didn't have money at that time. They were poor. No money. Poor. So, and they lived with her mom. She had mommy. What? She had mom as well. She had mom. And they lived together in a small house. In a small, not big. They lived together in a small house, just a girl, 11 years old, and her mom. They were living together in this house, the small house, really close to the forest. That means that house was just close, not far away from the forest. And forest is a place where a lot of trees, and there are no many people. There are only animals and trees. like that. That's a forest. Yeah, that's a forest. And the house was just like not far. It was like maybe 100 meters far. That was just like 100 meters from the house to the forest. It was not far. That's why it was on the edge of the forest, just where the forest ends. That is an edge. Yeah, there is an edge where the forest ends. So, and was not far, only 100 meters. So this family was poor and they had no money to buy a lot of food they would like to eat. They were hungry. And each day, that means like every day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no weekends, no rest. So every day, a girl went to the forest. So she went, she went to the forest every day. And girl would go there and look for the berries. She was looking for the berries. She was collecting some berries to eat. Yeah, some berries in the forest. So like that, my vision. She was collecting some berries to eat. And also nuts. She was collecting nuts. Nuts. Just like that. And nuts from the trees. It was collecting berries and the nuts from the trees. And when she found those berries, and she would collect and bring them home with her. She was like taking them and bringing them home. So the girl was taking all those berries she could find home. Like that. So she collected those berries and brought it home to her mom and herself to eat. They were eating them. One day, one girl went to the forest, and the girl met an old woman that was like 80 years old. 80 years old, really old woman. And yeah, here she is. She met an old woman. And that was not usual. That was not ordinary woman. That was a fairy that could do a magic, and she had a magic stick, you see. Boom, she was doing some magic. And she looked kind, like really nice, and her eyes twinkled like she had some like small lights in her eyes, just twinkled like stars. And that woman seemed to know all problems that girl had. Like they had nothing to eat, they had no money, and she knew that, not even talking to a girl. So that was a super woman, a fairy woman. And that woman gently patted the girl on her shoulder, patted her. Like, okay, I see your problems. And said, that fairy said, that old woman that was fairy, she said, "Dear child, I know that you are hungry, you want to eat, and I see your kindness and that you help others." Means that the girl was not evil. She was not rough to others. She was kind. She was helping. She helped people around her. So that's why Fairy wanted to help. The old woman held out a small pot and said, so she held out a small pot. Okay. And the girl, let me just give me a sec. So she held out a pot. Was like that. So the woman, the fairy, held out the pot and gave it to the girl and said, "Dear child, take this magic pot with you. Whenever you are hungry, you want to eat, every time you are hungry, just say, cook, little pot, cook. And this pot, it will make a delicious, warm porridge. That means really tasty, really nice and warm. That means not cold, but delicious, warm porridge." Yeah? Yeah, so there is a pot with a delicious warm porridge. It's not cold, but warm. It's better, warm. And remember, said the old woman, the magician, when you have enough, that you don't want anymore, enough, when you have enough of porridge, you must say, you need to say special words. Stop, little pot. So it will stop cooking. The little girl was very happy. Wow, great. She thanked the woman. She said, "Thank you very much." Many times, not one, but many times. And carefully, really with care, carried the little pot back to her mother. So she took the pot from the lady and bring it back. So she went home and she brought it back to her mommy. Yeah, brought it back home. So the girl could not wait. She was really hurried, really fast. She was running. She could not wait to share her good luck. She wanted to share with her mom, give her mother. At home, the girl set the pot on a small wooden table. So she put the pot on a small wooden table, like this one, for example. So there is a wooden table, and the girl put that small pot on this table. Yep. And then she said, the girl said, "Cook, little pot, cook." Right away, the pot began to bubble. Bubbles came. It started to make a bubbling, like when you boil water. Yeah, the bubbles, like that. When it's hot, and it's hot as well, it's hot. And there are bubbles, like boiling with bubbles. And it filled with hot sweet porridge. So that was empty, there was nothing, and then they appeared a porridge, like out of nowhere it appeared. The smell was wonderful, it was tasty. Nice. And soon the girl and her mother were enjoying their first warm meal in a long time. Could you imagine yourself? People didn't have warm food for a long time. That were hard times back then for this family. So they were really happy they could eat a warm, sweet porridge. Now the family, they could eat as much as they wanted. So they were only eating as much as they had, but now they could eat as much as they want. That means if I want 5 kilos of porridge, I eat 5 kilos. That means as much as I want. But if I have only 3 kilos, so I eat as much as I have. That means that even if I want to eat 5 kilos of porridge, but I have only 3, I can eat only 3 kilos of porridge, even if I want to eat 5. So I eat only as much as I have. But this happened, that changed for this family. Now they could eat as much as they wanted, and it's really great. Now they could eat as much as they wanted and would never go hungry again. They would never feel hunger and be without the food. The family was now freed from the poverty and hunger. And poverty, when you don't have money all the time and you cannot buy what you need, that's a poverty. It's a really bad thing. And they no longer had to worry about being poor or being without food. The little pot brought them happiness. They were happy and peace. They didn't worry all the time. They were okay, relaxed. And whenever they felt hungry, every time they felt like hungry, wanted to eat, they only need to say to the magic pot the special words, and pot would start to cook porridge for them. They ate until they were full, just like, as I usually say, like a bottle of water. Yeah, so you've got bottle of water. There is a bottle and it's full of water. So they ate, the mother and the girl, they ate as much, so they were full, a lot of porridge. Yeah? They couldn't eat anymore. All right, and okay, let's go further. And then the girl would say, "Stop, little pot," and it would stop cooking. That was enough. Okay, stop, little pot. One day, while a little girl was away, she went somewhere. She was not at home. She went somewhere. She was not at home. She went away. She went. Her mother decided to use that magic pot. So her mommy said, "Cook, little pot, cook." And just as always, the pot started to cook the porridge. And it was okay, the pot was working. And soon the porridge filled the pot. So it was like this. It was full, just like here, or just like a bottle of water. It was full. There was not much place left. And after that, that spill over the edges. So that was too much porridge, and it spilled over the edges. It spilled over all place around. Soon the porridge covered the kitchen floor, and was like on the floor, all over the place. So like that, around the table was all in porridge. So it was going outside of the pot. Boom, boom. So soon it was growing higher, and was in every room in the house. But it didn't stop there. The pot was cooking more, kept cooking, and the porridge flowed like a water. out of the house. It flowed out of the house. So there was so much of it that it just went out. It was pouring through doors and windows. It was pouring through doors and windows. Outside was so much porridge. And it was going on, and all houses in the village were covered with porridge, in all field, like a lot of other houses. They were all covered in porridge like that. So let me get it. So all houses were covered with porridge like this. So boom, it just spilled out and just like flowed like that. And people in the village were in a great distress. That was terrible. They were really worried and upset. Oh, what happened? The porridge was everywhere, and people didn't know what to do with it. What to do, I don't know. So the pot was cooking. It kept cooking, and it looked like the pot wanted to feed, to give food, to give food to whole world, to everyone. And porridge piled up higher and higher. Pile is just like you got something above something. Okay, pile can be pile, like something on above something. Can be pile of bricks, for example. Pile of bricks. Yeah, or pile of rocks. Yeah, it's like pile of bricks, pile of rocks, just like one on the top of the other, one on the top of the other. And finally, the little girl came back home, and she saw all that mess, it was like that porridge everywhere. And the girl quickly understood, what had happened. Calmly, she walked to the pot. She get to the pot, the girl. To the pot. The girl went to the pot, came to the kitchen maybe, and she said, "Stop, little pot." And at once the pot stopped cooking. The porridge finally stopped spilling like that, like it was spilling out, and it stopped. And but all streets had been already covered. All streets, all streets were covered. And there was so much porridge that anyone who wanted to go somewhere in the town had to eat through the porridge. So there was porridge everywhere, and you had to eat, like in this pack game. So you had to eat this porridge to get somewhere. Yeah, so like this game, like bam. And so you got, if you want to go this direction, you had to eat through. So you're eating and you're moving. Only after that. From that day, everyone in the village remembered that you need to be careful with magic. And little girl and her mom always said, "Stop, little pot," when they had enough to eat. And this story teaches us that you should read the instructions when you use such a powerful magic pot like that. Always pay attention to instruction. Hope you had fun and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.